The new transfer student, Jake, catches the attention of Baha, the school's most popular girl. Nicely done, thanks for the save. I owe you one. They hit it off right away, and she invites him to a party after school. I hear is this party tonight if you want to go. You going to be there? But what Jake doesn't know is that this party is actually a trap set up by Baha's boyfriend Ryan, the school's notorious bully. At the party, Ryan suddenly challenges Jake to a fight. You ready? Ready for what? The crowd erupts into excited chants. The main event, that would be me and you. Jake's completely caught off guard. He doesn't want to fight. Get the hell out of here, man! I am not fighting! When he turns to leave, the crowd lets out disappointed boos. Ryan, desperate to get his fight with Jake, deliberately brings up Jake's father's death. Not even that part about your dad wrapping his drunk ass around that tree. This hits Jake's nerve and he finally agrees to take the challenge. Ryan, it turns out, is no ordinary schoolyard bully. He's a professional boxer and MMA champion. Jake doesn't stand a chance and ends up getting brutally beaten. Him, baby. What Jake doesn't realize is that all this hatred stems from a viral fight video from months ago. It happened during a high school football game where Jake was absolutely crushing it. Everyone was impressed by his performance. He seemed unstoppable, about to clinch the championship. But then one of his opponents started playing mind games, taunting Jake about not being able to take care of his father, which led to his father's death. Too bad about your old man. The sauce, that shit'll kill you. Something in those words hit a nerve, and Jake just snapped. He unleashed a brutal beating on the guy. By the end of the game, both teams had erupted into an all-out brawl. Someone caught it all on video, and it went viral. Just like that, Jake became known as the guy who fights. But Jake never wanted to be a fighter. His father's death left a wound that never healed. One fateful day, Jake and his dad were heading out. Even though his father was drunk, he insisted on driving. Jake offered to take the wheel, but his dad refused. They ended up crashing into a tree, and his father didn't make it. To this day, Jake blames himself. He's convinced that if he'd been behind the wheel, his dad would still be alive. His father's drunk driving death became fodder for school bullies, and Jake desperately wants to escape this life. When his younger brother, Charlie, lands a scholarship at a school in Orlando, they decide to move from Iowa to Florida. Charlie's a rising tennis star, and their mom fully supports his career. But she's disappointed in Jake, who often gets involved in fighting, feeling that as the only adult man in the house, he's not setting a good example for his brother. Thought it sounded cooler if I got in a fight. Still think you don't need to set an example, Jake? It's Jake's first day at the new school. Behind the building, he spots a student named Max getting beaten up by a group of guys. Jake tries to ignore it, but guilt gnaws at him. When he finally steps in to help, something unexpected happens. Max and his friends actually scold him. I think he's got this. Damn right. Plot twist, this bullying was actually a sanctioned MMA practice session. This little misunderstanding gets Max and his crew curious about Jake. Soon enough, that football fight video starts making the rounds, and Jake becomes the talk of the school. Everyone's impressed, but Jake tries to keep a low profile. His mom's made it clear she doesn't want him getting mixed up in any more fights. Meanwhile, Jake catches the attention of a girl in his class named Baha. During a lesson, the teacher asks her a question she can't answer. Jake steps up and nails it. After class, Baha catches up with him, asking if he's new. They hit it off, and Jake finds himself drawn to her vibrant, charming personality. But Jake's rising popularity and his connection with Baha don't sit well with her boyfriend, Ryan, the school's resident tough guy. Ryan's not just any fighter, he's a skilled MMA champion who's always seen himself as the best. When Jake's fight video goes viral, suddenly everyone's talking about Jake instead of him. That's why Ryan wants this showdown. He needs to prove he's the only champion at school. The one who can beat anybody. So Ryan hatches a plan, using Baha to lure Jake to a party at his place. When everyone forms a circle, Ryan blindsides Jake with a challenge. Jake wants no part of it, even when Ryan brings up the football fight to taunt him. We all saw that video, right? If you want to be the best, you gotta take out the best. I don't want to be the best. As Jake turns to leave, Ryan hits him where it hurts, bringing up Jake's father's accident. That finally makes Jake snap. But here is the thing, while Jake's been out of the fighting game, Ryan's been training non-stop. The outcome is brutal, and worse yet, Someone's recording the whole thing. The video spreads through school, leaving Jake humiliated. When Jake stumbles home with his bruised face, Charlie spots him. Jake tries to play it cool, telling Charlie to keep quiet about it to their mom. But Charlie, being the clever kid he is, just quips, "Say anything to Mom about this, like I need to." Jake's so furious about everything that he skips school for a whole week. That's when Max shows up at his door, trying to convince him to get back into fighting the right way. "Look, man, you gotta throw in some Muay Thai, have a ground game." He offers to introduce Jake to his coach, who happens to be one of the best in the business. Max breaks down what MMA is all about and connects him with Coach Jean Roquois. After putting Jake through some grueling physical tests, his determination impresses Roquois enough to take him on. "Knack choke! Tap out! Tap out!" Couple more seconds, I would have had him. We don't give up here. But Roquois lays down one absolute Roulino, fighting outside the gym for any reason. "Break it and you are out." Jake trains hard, learning discipline and new fighting techniques. With Roquois' guidance, he starts to understand that fighting isn't just about anger, it's about control, respect, and strategy. When Ryan challenges him again, Jake stands his ground but refuses to fight outside the ring. Eventually, they agree to an official MMA match at a local tournament. Jake uses his newfound skills and discipline to face Ryan in the ring, where he finally earns his redemption not just by fighting, but by proving to himself that he's stronger than his past. Jake is getting ready for the Underground Championship, the beatdown, where fighters like Ryan go head-to-head. The intensity of the fight is becoming real, and Jake knows he's stepping into something much bigger than he ever imagined. After all the anger and aggression that's built up in him, he's more than ready to face Ryan, but his coach, Roquois, has taught him a vital lesson. Fighting isn't just about strength, it's about control and mindset. As Jake continues training, he's dealing with his personal demons too, his relationship with his mom, Baha, and the lingering issues about his dad. With every session, he's becoming stronger not just physically but emotionally as well. But the path he's on isn't just about winning fights, it's about redemption and confronting the guilt that weighs on him. Now, the day of the beatdown is fast approaching, and as Jake gears up for the fight, he's faced with a choice. Will he give in to the anger that fueled him before or find a new way to channel his strength? This isn't just a fight against Ryan anymore, it's a fight for his own peace and a future beyond the rage that's been driving him. It's hard for Jake to take the beatdown his dad shows up at practice. Instead of offering encouragement, his father tells him that he shouldn't be proud yet because he hasn't beaten the best-meaning Ryan. Jake is planning to skip the beatdown, thinking it's just Ryan's game. However, everything changes when Ryan invites Max over, beats him up, and leaves him on Jake's doorstep to be found. After getting Max to the hospital, Jake confronts his coach. They argue about Jake joining the beatdown, and the coach tells him to stop. He says, "Let it go. If you could go back and stop the guy who shot your brother, don't push me. I know you would have fought that guy." Eventually, the coach gives in but warns Jake to control the outcome at the tournament. Both Jake and Ryan tear through their opponents, with Jake making it to the semifinals. During the fight, Jake takes a brutal shot to the ribs but persists, ultimately winning the match. Afterward, the pain is so intense that he has to use ice packs to cope. Baha shows up to support him, telling him that she understands why he keeps fighting, so he won't have to fight anymore. However, things take an unexpected turn when Jake learns that Ryan has been disqualified from the semi-finals for illegal eye gouging. Jake figures there's no point in continuing and tries to quit. As he and Baha try to leave, Ryan confronts him, and they end up throwing down in the parking lot. The confrontation draws everyone from inside to watch. And just like that, the fight is on. Jake is still hurting from his injuries, and Ryan gains the upper hand early on, locking him in a chokehold. But Jake breaks free and unleashes that very first combination Roa taught him, finally taking Ryan down. The whole fight gets uploaded online, but this time, it's different. Jake earns the respect of his classmates, including Ryan himself. Eventually, Jake decides it's time to head back to Brazil and make things right with his father.